Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. This is my review for Scream 6, Ghostface Takes Manhattan. Okay, that's not the actual subtitle, but it is a slasher movie set in New York City, much like the other Paramount slasher movie that came out in 1989, Jason Takes Manhattan. And don't worry, this is automatically better than Jason Takes Manhattan. This movie takes place, I think, a year after the events of Scream 2022. We once again follow the new characters that were introduced in that movie. Sam and Tara Carpenter, along with Mindy and Chad Meeks Martin. All four of these characters have left Westboro and now live in New York City. Mindy, Chad, and Tara attend college there, while Sam just lives there to try to protect Tara from any other attacks. But wouldn't you know it, another Ghostface killer is wandering around New York City in an attempt to try to find these characters. And this Ghostface killer shows to be even more ruthless than the ones that have come prior. Over the past month, I've had time to familiarize myself with the other Scream movies, because prior to my reviews of Scream 2, 3, and 4, I had only seen the 1996 classic and the 2022 requel from last year. I really enjoyed last year's Scream, and having watched it as somebody who'd only seen the original, it wasn't that hard to follow. And even though it was very derivative of the first Scream movie, like the final act taking place in the exact same house as the original, I feel like the Scream franchise, considering its meta nature, is the only franchise where you can actually get away with repeating certain elements from the original when it comes to requels. So that's how I originally saw Scream 5, as somebody who had only watched the original. With Scream 6, I am watching it with the perspective of somebody who has now seen all the movies, and I'd consider myself a fan of this franchise. And this actually might be, as of right now, my second favorite in the series. It once again has the same creative team as the last Scream movie, Radio Silence, who made the excellent Ready or Not from 2019. And everything that Scream 5 had and did well, this movie amps up and I think does even better. The kills are far more brutal than they were in Scream 5, and much like with that movie, this one has a few firsts. I won't spoil any of the gnarly kills in this movie, but similar to how it only took them 5 movies to get a fire stunt, there are things that happen in this movie where you think, how did it take the franchise this long to give us this? And the characters are still just as fun as ever. I've really grown to like the characters that were introduced in the last movie, to the point where I didn't really miss Sidney Prescott. Yeah, it's disappointing that Neve Campbell couldn't come back because Paramount wouldn't pay her the money that she quite frankly deserved. But Sidney had no place in this movie, and she deserved to live a peaceful life. So the fact that this movie successfully carries the torch from the legacy cast to the new cast is an accomplishment. And I'm so glad that I caught up with the other sequels before seeing this movie, because there are a lot of nods to the entire franchise, not just the original Scream, but all the sequels. And had I not seen the other movies prior, I probably would have been lost. More specifically, the return of Kirby Reed, played once again by Hayden Panettiere. At the point in the movie where they revealed that Kirby is back, all the Scream fans in the audience cheered. One in particular kept squealing behind me every time she does something. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, she's a great character and I loved her in Scream 4, but you don't have to lose your mind over every little thing this character does. That being said, it was still really fun to see her back. Hayden Panettiere does a really good job. Since Kirby's a lot older right now, she's not as hip or as cool as she was in Scream 4. That's not meant to be a criticism towards her at all, it's just, you know, the character's older, so there's no real reason for her to act the same exact way she did in Scream 4. Though I have to admit, the circumstances that bring her back into this movie I thought were a little too convenient, and I just had kind of a difficult time buying into it at first. But, you know, once the movie kept going, it didn't bother me, so Kirby was a really welcome return. Getting back to the newer characters, one thing that I really love about this movie is how it kind of deals with moving on. It's much like with Avengers Endgame, where the main characters are trying to move past this horrific event, and in the case of Tara, Mindy, and Chad, each of them have just wanted to move forward with their lives. It's like, look, I don't want to be stuck in the past, but Sam is not really willing to let it all go. She's still mentally stuck back in the events of the first movie, and is overly protective of Tara after the two of them have been estranged for so long up until the events of the last movie. And Melissa Barrera does a really good job with this little bit of character development, especially when it comes to the relationship she has with Tara, played again by Jenna Ortega, who I still haven't seen Wednesday, but I'm so happy that her career has just taken off as much as it has, especially within the horror genre. And then of course, Mason Gooding as Chad and Jasmin Savoy Brown as Mindy are great as ever. Mindy has really become a favorite of mine in terms of new Scream characters. And yes, she does get a scene with Kirby Reed. Two big horror nuts get to interact with each other several times, actually. And as a Scream fan, it's pretty much exactly what you expect when these two characters meet up. Gale Weathers actually doesn't contribute a whole lot to this movie. Her role is just basically the same as it was in the previous films, but it's probably more reduced just to give a lot of the other characters their time to shine, which is fine. Seeing Courteney Cox back in this role is fun, even though she's the only one of the original trio to return. The only thing I really have to say in terms of complaints is that they bring back the whole Billy Loomis ghost dad thing from Scream 5. And that was a situation that I didn't need to see any of the other sequels to understand, to know that it was kind of a weird choice. Having Billy Loomis occasionally pop up in Sam's head, urging her to kill when she's clearly the protagonist, it felt a little odd. But you know, there's probably going to be a Scream 7, and I'm curious to see if they take that any further. That's not really a spoiler in saying that this thing is back. I just think it's worth mentioning because if you were a little confused at that segment in Scream 5, it probably won't work for you in this movie. But overall, I really enjoyed Scream 6. Like I said at the beginning of the review, it might be my second favorite of the franchise. It goes back and forth between this one and the last one, so both radio silence Scream movies then. The kills are great, I really love these new characters, and I was happy that this movie actually did have something to say about horror movies and the film industry in general. Scream 5 talked about legacy sequels and toxic fandom, how people on the internet can just overly hate a movie and think it's the worst thing in the world and just get annoying. Scream 6 talks about film franchises and kind of takes things to another level when it comes to toxic fandom. More specifically, how the internet in this movie has painted Sam as this horrible monster. Very similar to how a lot of people online just can't seem to stop hating Brie Larson for whatever reason. I mean, that's as much as I got from it. I might be looking a little too much into that, so I'll just leave it at that without spoiling anything and see if you come to that same conclusion or you think I'm stretching. The reveal of the killers, I won't spoil who it is, obviously, since it's a whodunit, but I will say that I was reminded of one of the prior Scream sequels, but this movie did what a certain sequel back then didn't do as well. So I think it's an improvement, and it worked out for me at the end of the day. It made total sense. I'd say it's worth seeing in your lifetime. If you're a fan of the Scream franchise, then once again, this is for you. And I felt like it had a little more room to do its own thing rather than kind of repeat segments from the first Scream like the last movie did. But yeah, I really enjoyed these characters. I love the whodunit aspect of these movies. And I'm a big enough fan now to where I'm super excited for a 7th movie. Because a 7th movie is coming. They're not fooling anyone, and I'm excited for it. And there you go, that's my review for Scream 6. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.